Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from MouseSteps.com.
And this is episode number 242.
242.
Of Mouse Steps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. We are going to be talking about Epcot, Disneyland Paris, and Disneyland today. And they can assist you personally with all of these locations. Not only that, but Shanghai, really any Disney parks, they've been to all of them. And not only Disney, they can do really pretty much anything. So especially right now, Halloween at Disneyland to me is fantastic. So if you need a last minute trip, they're the ones to call.
Yes, highly recommend. Everyone should go book a trip to Disneyland right now.
We have a lot of friends who already have.
So we're starting bright and early at Epcot for the 35th anniversary. It's October 1st, 2017.
So back on the 25th, we were here. Well, I was here and you were here, like separately. And that was in 2007. And then we were there for the 2012 one. So this was the third one that there has
these anniversary, fan anniversaries, kind of. They gave us a nice pin. I really like the button, I should say. And here's my collection. That is an original Epcot opening day map to the left. And then, of course, the 25th, the 30th, and the 35th. So they've been doing these every 5 years since the 25th. And we want to thank Adam Roth, really. He's a fan who really got the ball rolling on doing these anniversary celebrations. At the time, Disney, or Epcot anyway, didn't seem like they were going to do much to honor it. So I thought that was nice to kind of have pushed them into it, so to speak.
I remember Walt Disney World, I don't know if it was for the 15th, gave away cars. That was pretty good, too.
I remember that. Yes.
Every day, like, they gave away a car.
And look at the crowd. There is a big, giant crowd in front of the
there's
fountain.
Becky.
Yeah, in front of the fountain stage. And we know a lot of the usual suspects here. It had rained and rained, heavy, heavy rain. So you could see they're mopping off the stage. We were all soaked. And they kicked it off with Mariachi Cobre, which is an opening day entertainment act. And again, they've been there now continuously for 35 years. So it was very special to have them.
Right, and I just want to say I wasn't there for the presentation. It was really busy, so I knew I wasn't probably going to get photos, and I wasn't going to see much. So I actually went for a walk around World Showcase. So that was very nice.
You missed the spectacular goodness of the 20th or the 35th special presentation.
Well, I saw it on video, so that was okay.
So anyway, it was. I thought it was a very nice presentation. Here is the new Disney ambassador.
His name is Brandon Peters. So he really was there more to introduce the Epcot VP as well as president of the Walt Disney World Resort.
Now, this kind of reminded me of the 25th anniversary celebration where all the different countries around World Showcase had the signs, and here's the Future World signs as well. So this was very nice, reminded me of that, which kind of was a throwback to the opening day presentation.
And we're friends with somebody from the 25th who had a sign, Lewis.
And his picture still is published in the Communicore. Or whatever they call it now.
Interventions.
So, yeah. It's not even called that, I don't think.
So, I mentioned they had the Epcot VP. Her name is Melissa Valiquette. I believe that's almost how you say it. And she has actually been the vice president here since 2015.
Who knew? Not us.
I had no idea.
But we are familiar with Walt Disney World Resort President George Kalogridis. Here he is now.
And he was an opening day Walt Disney World cast member. And so he talked a little bit about being a cast member and that he was wondering why a second park was being built. So he was like, we already have a park. So now there's 4.
He talked about the future of Epcot, too, which is very interesting. I think they mentioned the Ratatouille and some of the other upcoming attractions.
And the Epcot vice president did as well. It's just funny, like we know who all the executives were in it. She slipped by me somehow, so
we'll have to keep more attention to these things.
Yes, we should. But anyway, the Voices of Liberty, I did watch the video. To me, were the highlight as far as...
They were spectacular. They reminded me of the cast member group Encore when they used to do these giant medleys of all the Epcot classic music. So I thought that was wonderful. And of course, here are some of the characters coming out for the big finale.
And they sung like Making Memories, One Little Spark, Magic Journeys, We Go On, and such like that. So Golden Dream. I mean, incredible. Just an incredible veggie, fruit kind of in between that. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it was really good. I've listened to that, just the audio, every once in a while, just because I quite like that. It's very nice.
And then they brought the characters out who they're in the park now. They didn't bring like vintage characters out, but they brought ones like Joy and Sadness meet guests now, and then the other characters.
So it would have been nice to see the characters in their rainbow original outfits, those silver outfits you used to see, Mickey and Minnie and all those.
I wonder if those are even still around. I guess you just never know.
Or the elephants. They could have brought the elephants.
There's so
who
many
have performed on that very stage.
They used to have you saw it, the Daredevil Circus Spectacular. They had a circus here for like almost a year.
Now this is scarier than the circus. This is the merchandise line, and at times it was multiple hours going all the way back to the entrance. Now this line was just the line to buy things like the shirt, the I Was There pin, the hat, things like that. There was a separate line for the special edition pins, and
then there was another line, I think, for the Figment.
For the pop.
There were
the
like
vinyls.
3 different lines. So like if you wanted merchandise, you could have stood there like all day, or you could have just come the next day.
You could have been like Jeff, who waited in no line, and thanks to my good friend Martin, he picked me up a hat at the very end of the day after the fireworks. There was 0 wait in that very line you saw, so I got everything I wanted. It was a good move. That doesn't always work, but this time it did.
So there was a special Epcot cupcake, and people guest waited a long time to order these, but we had ours like a couple days ago. Yeah. We had it many days after. So the Starbucks location is still selling it, and I recommend the Starbucks location because you can get your Starbucks points and pick up special. There's 3 Epcot mugs right now, which is incredible. So 3 special Epcot mugs.
It was a pretty good cupcake too. I quite enjoyed it. Now this is the Odyssey, the former Odyssey. I guess it's still called the Odyssey, but now it's the Epcot 35th Center, they're calling it. And you could see people are also doing the beer flights. We did a special champagne flight. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Right. So the Epcot 35th area, I think we were saying, was it around Festival of the Arts when they started adding some of this in?
Yes.
There's so many festivals now, so it's hard to know. This is a blue, I don't have the name of it in front of me, but this is a fantastic drink. Like, it's like blue and bubbly. It's a wine. And then we bought the 35th, what are they, like a plastic glow flute. And those were like $7.
Yeah,
and then
not a bad deal, $7.
Sparkly wine in it.
So, and these are some, you had mentioned some of the models and things. Slowly but surely, since the Festival of Arts, they've been putting more and more retro Epcot stuff in there. I guess they're calling it the Epcot Legacy Showplace, and they're calling it the Odyssey Center.
You know what?
So
that
those are all new terms.
Needed?
All new terms. What did it need?
A monorail around.
Yes, it did.
Well, just like everybody else has.
We have seen that before. I have not seen this model before of Canada, nor have I seen the model we're about to see of Germany. Yeah, so it was nice to see them and walk around and kind of get a bird's eye view of the model.
So I'm guessing these will be in there for a little while, is that right?
At least through the end of the festival, all this stuff will be there. Plus, they show a vintage slideshow of old Epcot building, some construction pictures I'd never seen. So I just like to hang out there, listen to the classic music. If you like old Epcot, it's a great place to be.
So we had lunch at Chefs de France, which was really great. They have a fixed price menu for $39.99. So we ended up each getting that. We don't always do that. So I don't know if you remember, but many years ago, this area was open air.
Yeah, when Epcot opened, all of this, even the other side, was fully open air. I guess they didn't take into account the Florida heat when they originally opened this.
And I had read in a book where somebody questioned why this was enclosed, but it was because it was so hot, and so they didn't realize that it had been open, just like in France at one point.
Right.
So anyway, here is the fixed price menu, $39.99, no substitutions. And really for the price, it's almost like you're getting, let's say, a dessert for free or something, or a appetizer for free.
Right. You can actually make out on it over ordering a la carte.
Right. And well, if those are the items that you don't mind ordering, again, no substitutions on them. I like beef bourguignon. Also, they bring a demi baguette, a smaller baguette, and you can order another one as well.
Yeah, and it's included, and they are hot. And if you watch our show, if you know us, you know we love our baguettes from the France Pavilion.
Right, and we'll probably get one tomorrow when we're at Epcot, but we take them home. We didn't take this one home. But here is my salad. It's actually a really good size salad. Again, $39.99 for 3 courses. And there is your
lobster bisque. And it's a very different recipe, a completely different type of lobster bisque than one you would get inside next door. This is a very chunky lobster bisque with large pieces of lobster, very fresh meat. It tastes wonderful. I like both. I actually like both very much. You can get the other one in a bread bowl next door if you'd like.
And we both got the beef bourguignon, which was very good. This is making me hungry. We don't go there nearly enough.
That you can't tell from the video. It is a gigantic portion, a huge portion. Now, that's not quite as good as when we went to our good friend Fan Max's house in France, and his mother homemade cooked for us. But it was it was wonderful.
Close. It's pretty close, and it comes with the fettuccine. So the desserts are very hard to decide because there's like 6 fantastic looking desserts, and it's like, do I want one for the picture? There was like a swan cream puff dessert, but fortunately I got a picture of it from somebody else's table. Actually, they were holding it for a photo. I was like, can I take a picture too? So I didn't have to order I don't want to say have to. It looks fantastic.
That does look really good, but my waiter suggested if I wanted something lighter, I should go for this trio of sorbet here.
Which were huge.
Yes.
I can't even describe. You have to see. It's almost like a little platter of sorbet.
It was spectacularly giant.
And then there was like they called it a Madeleine in there as well.
So good, though. So good.
And plenty of fruit. I was sort of in the mood for something chocolate, and this fit the bill, the chocolate cake, which it's almost like a chocolate, not a crunch inside, but like kind of like a chocolate bar-ish type inside as well. So you get like several chocolate tastes, really almost like 4 of them, and then a mint chocolate chip ice cream also. So
all winners as far as desserts.
Excellent. And we had thanked Richard. Actually, we sent a compliment in. He is new to Chefs de France, but he has been working with the company.
He was fantastic.
He was excellent. So we were very happy with his service. Was excellent.
And he put up with our foolishness because we had a window table, and at one point while we were getting our ice cream desserts, I look out the window.
And there's Bob Gurr.
There's Bob Gurr! And at first I wasn't sure we should go out, but you kind of encouraged me to actually do it. So, we told our waiter, we promise we'll be right back. We went out there and we both got to meet Bob Gurr, and he was awesome as always.
We just saw him at Walt's Barn a couple of weeks ago, and at that time I didn't feel comfortable approaching him.
Right.
Here, like everybody was, so it wasn't too big a deal.
Right, and he seemed to actually be happy that all the people there were appreciative of him and taking pictures. So it was really nice. So thanks to Bob Gurr again for being very cordial. and I think I even told him our ice cream was worth melting for to come out and see him.
It sounds like Olaf.
Yeah, that's very true. So after that awesome but very filling lunch at France, we met up with our good friends, and there's our house guests, Martin and Michelle from Manchester, England. There's Chris, there's Steve Boutet, all the usual gang. That's what I like most about Epcot's 35th. It's just all the different people we know and hanging out and meeting people we don't necessarily see all the time. That's what made it special for me, even more than the special events.
And after that, I went walking to Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Well, you were full from that huge meal.
I wanted to walk in. I wanted to see Grand Avenue, which we are going to go to together tomorrow.
Right, and I was in my socializing mode, so you know how that gets. Anyway, here is the special Epcot finale to Illuminations, and very similar to what we saw 5 years ago. I think it was the same music, but I always love any kind of tag they have to Illuminations. I quite enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the one 5 years ago, and then, of course, there was one 10 years ago.
Right.
So every 5 years, it seems like they've had the tag. It sounded like they weren't sure they were going to have one, so it was really nice.
It was more of a last-minute announcement.
That's what it seemed like, yeah.
It was really nice, and just like last time, I kind of like at the very finale when you just get the blackout fireworks,
I don't like that.
Kind of like, what do you call it, the Christmas.
Right, the Christmas one.
Holiday tag.
The holiday illuminations
right
tag.
Here.
It scares me a lot. So, it's like, boom, 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 peace on earth, boom, 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 boom.
Yes, I think of peace on earth. When I see these massive explosions, I always think of peace on earth. And I think maybe this was even more of the highlight, the projections, the laser projections on Spaceship Earth.
I actually preferred the projections. I didn't think the tag was as good as other tags I've seen
because
before.
of the wind, I think.
And
the
it was
wind,
partly because of the wind.
It affected the lasers and
right.
all that.
So not the lasers, but the fireworks themselves.
Right.
But I enjoyed the little laser show on Spaceship Earth. I thought that was very nice.
Anyway, it was an awesome time. time. I had such a great day. I can't wait for 5 more years for the 40th anniversary of Epcot. And so we went back a couple days later, and they still had plenty of merchandise, so I was able to get anything that I hadn't gotten before, which I actually had gotten almost everything I wanted, but they had the pins, those pins for that big long line for pins. They still had the limited edition ones, so all was well. Now we're going to jump ahead to Disneyland Paris. This was the same day in the real France, and our good friend Curious Axel was there to check out the Disneyland Paris Halloween kickoff. These are some of our friends. There you saw the Hag. There is Jack Skellington. I feel like these are all our good friends.
We've been there twice for Halloween together, so I mean, we really enjoy it.
And we will be back next year. I feel the Halloween need to be back to Disneyland Paris, but our very abled correspondent, Curious Axel, did a fantastic job. Definitely check him out on YouTube, Curious Axel on YouTube. Anyway, here he is talking all about Halloween at Disneyland Paris.
Good morning. It's finally October. Halloween starts at Disneyland Paris. Now I know you guys in Florida are already looking forward to Christmas because you had Halloween since the last month. But it only starts today here at Disneyland Paris. Come on, we go take a look. What have you done to the castle?
I have taken it over. Have you not seen it? It's Halloween.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween. Everybody make a scene. Trick or treat. Tell the neighbors on your diaphragm. It's our time. Everybody's free.
Well, what a nice dance.
Yes!
You're a great dancer.
Yes, I'm dancing.
And look at those beautiful apples there.
I know, yes. What do you want?
Well, I don't want an apple.
No.
I've been told they're poisoned.
So nice.
I've been told they're poisoned.
Poison.
Yes, I have.
No poison.
I have a good friend. His name is Jeff over in Orlando, and he's a big fan of yours.
Oh,
he
hello.
loves.
Hello, you too.
He loves your apples.
Yeah?
So guys, this is what Disneyland Paris has to offer for Halloween this year. I hope you enjoyed it, and well, it's here until the end of October, so still time to come over. So head over to Disneyland Paris. I hope to see you real soon here in Paris, guys. Bye. I have brought something with me, a gold coin to add to the collection.
And I always support giving a gold coin to,
Yes, I know.
Scrooge McDuck.
So even though Halloween there is not as good this year as it has been in previous years because the 25th anniversary is going on, and so that takes priority.
No Halloween Harvest Parade.
No, that's one of my favorite aspects of it. But some of it is still really good, and I wish we were there
It looks,
in a way.
you have to admit, it still does look awesome.
Yes,
I mean, I would love to be there.
I mean, we did Disneyland. That's what we did this year instead. But I still want to get back to Disneyland Paris. I know we've been there, a couple times in the last year, but this makes me really want to get back there.
And of course, Axel did a fantastic job. I think that next year, because they didn't have it this year, they need to make up for it, and it'll be back better than ever.
I hope so.
Even more spectacular. So I think it's the right time.
Again, I think it still looks good, but Axel does a fantastic job.
And also, I should mention, Axel will be back next week with a special segment on Disney Fan Days, which looks amazing. We're going to have to go in June to check that out, too. We better save up our travel miles.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. We'll be doing more Paris this year.
And as you mentioned earlier, we didn't go to Disneyland Paris because we were at Disneyland for Halloween. We're going to look more at Halloween, this time at Disney California Adventure.
So the Disneyland Halloween and Disney California Adventure, the Disneyland Resort, fantastic. We're looking right now at the
Headless Horseman.
Yes, the Headless Horseman statue, which when they mentioned there'd be a statue, it's really a great statue. And at night, you can see it blows smoke and lights up.
Sort of comes alive at night.
Yeah.
And you also hear the creepy Halloween music that
And
sort
Oogie
of gets
Boogie.
louder and louder at night as well. And Oogie Boogie makes a various comments.
It's almost a little spooky in that area. Not bad or anything, but really a very cool effect. And here we see Mickey. He ended up not wearing that particular hat on subsequent days that we saw
Well, I
him.
think after the trolley show, he changes into his top hat and tails. So he kind of dresses up for the evening when his trolley show ends.
I even saw him later in the trip earlier in the day, so I don't know if what he does exactly, but anyway, there is this is one of my favorites, is Donald Duck as like a devil.
Yeah, I really like that the characters here on Buena Vista Street have completely different costumes than they do when they are visiting Disneyland Park. So this was really nice. Donald is very devilish anyway, so this fits his personality. He's trying to have a little extra chocolate on the way to his meet and greet.
So, I mean, if you want to meet characters for Halloween, you don't have to go to Mickey's Halloween Party, although there's some different characters and character costumes there. You can really go to both Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. And again, Donald was probably my favorite of all the characters we met.
He was
really
quite enjoying the trolley show music that was in
dancing.
the
We've
background.
got the little, the little wiggle going on there. So he he was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Donald was definitely one of our highlights, and he always is. So, and I guess for a duck, he was a bit of a ham, wasn't he?
Yes. And, you don't always see Donald in too many different costumes. At Paris, he's in his new Maleficent outfit,
Yes.
and here he's the devil. Then, okay, this is supposedly like a moon outfit. Now, Minnie's wearing mostly the same costume as she wears for the trolley show.
Well, I think people call it a moon outfit because her little headband
Because she has
is
a
shaped
moon.
like a moon. I don't know if it
They
really
call her
is.
Moon Minnie. So, but otherwise, it's mostly the costume from the show. And then you have Daisy here, and she's the witch, as opposed to Minnie, who often is a witch. Daisy's a witch both here and at the Mickey's Halloween party.
So she'll have to consult with her costume designer to try to break things up for next year.
Which
perhaps.
one, Daisy or
Daisy? Both.
Oh no, it's nice to see a different character doing the witch as opposed to Minnie, who does it here all the time. And here, Goofy, they call him the spirit of Halloween, because I had to ask what he was, because
Well,
you
he's
look
like
at
a
him.
ghost, a spirit, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. I don't feel like he's totally a ghost either, but he's really fun, and he he roams a lot. Like sometimes you can just meet him in a line, but other times, like here, he was scaring Minnie. At another time, he did with Mickey. So you probably have a little, I think you have a little of that as well.
Yeah, we're going to see a little of that as well. I saw a little Denise cameo in the background taking a picture of the spirit of Halloween, and there he is. He's got his eyes set on the big cheese, and there he is. So I kind of like that. I always love roaming characters. It's something we don't see as much here at Walt Disney World, so it was extra special to see that kind of shenanigans going on.
And they're all in their Buena Vista Street costumes, but then with a little extra Halloween flair.
So now we've seen all the characters of Buena Vista Street. We're going to go over to Cars Land, where they're celebrating Halloween.
H-A-U-L.
Yes, I was confusing that. Halloween, and there we are. Halloween. There's the first character. I don't know who that is,
and you
but
can
it's
see
all
the
made
cone.
out of it's all made out of various car parts.
Right. The cone there, you see it elsewhere also, and it's like a hat, but it's a cone. But the first character that we saw, we saw Vampire Mater a lot.
Right.
I was so excited when we first saw Vampire Mater. By the end, I'm like,
I think he's the poster car for the whole thing.
He was like the first one to come out, and Lightning McQueen. So he actually was there even soft opening a few days ahead of time.
But, Vampire Mater, he was great. He tells jokes. He's fun. I quite enjoyed him. And his costume is very easily figured out. Here we have Lightning McQueen as a superhero, but we weren't quite sure what he was going for. Some people thought it was a Zorro kind of thing, but superhero does make sense.
I didn't read too much into it. It was fun to meet all of them. They all have little phrases and such that they say, except maybe, I don't remember if DJ said anything.
Oh, he definitely does. He makes references to monster trucks and things like that, so we'll talk about him soon enough. And once again, here is Lightning McQueen. And the next vehicle, I shouldn't say car, the next vehicle we're going to see is Red the Fire Truck.
Right, and Red, we thought Cruz would be out before Red, but Red eventually, a few days late, made his way out, and it was very exciting because we were there. We asked if he'd be out, and they said, yeah, you know what, he's getting ready. So, and
this was his very first appearance ever dressed as the clown there. So it was very exciting. And we like Red. Red is a lot of fun anyway. He's different, because he's a truck rather than a car.
Right. And really just the characters. I don't want to say just the characters, but all of Cars Land is incredible, both day and night. For Halloween, they just really decorated so well. And then just adding to it was having the Cars characters dressing up. So I thought that was really fun.
Right, and they all make different noises and different sounds to correspond with their characters. Here is DJ. Now, DJ doesn't really meet and greet, so to speak, but he's part of a show. Yeah, he's part of a show, but he's dressed up, and he does talk about Halloween and makes many references, and he's in his punk rocker costume.
Right, and you can see the decorations of Cars Land, and they were still kind of adding to them as we were there. And I'm just looking around to see, like, even the behind there, that
Luigi's tire stack.
Right, I mean, that was even decorated. And Cruz, okay, we were there almost 2 weeks. It took that long to see Cruz.
Right, we would start off every day going to California Adventure Cars Land and asking, will Cruz come out, Have
well,
you
first
heard
it was
anything
Red,
about
too.
Cruz? So she was very, very hard to find.
I think she's out on a regular basis now, but it took a little while for her to get going there.
She wanted to make sure this pirate outfit was just right for the fans like us. So I'm glad that she put so much effort into it.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a great costume. I think they did a very good job. This is the first year that Cars Land has had Halloween.
And yet there's more characters. Here is one of the tractors that Mater would menace in the films, dressed as a mummy.
Yep, and this is like a baby. Well, this is a baby tractor, and it's one that you can go and you can pose with. And usually he's not usually wrapped. He's usually here, but he's not usually wrapped. And here you can see the town of Radiator Springs, and they're about to do the lighting.
That's
here.
right. It's a special lighting, and this really reminds me of the Osborne lights. You know, it's dusk, and things just come alive. You could see the fire station with the eyes and everything. I think they do a very nice job. And as you go around, all the different buildings in Cars Land are illuminated, and you can see they have cast members with signs getting the crowd into it. It's a very fun little thing they do every night, and it's not just here either.
Well, they do several lightings. There's a Buena Vista Street lighting, and then there's one at Haunted Mansion Holiday. This is the most extensive of them. It's not, you know, it's not huge, but it's probably the most, you know, if you're only going to choose one, this is the one to choose. But I enjoyed the Buena Vista Street and the Haunted Mansion Holiday, although it was like 20 minutes later than the previous day for Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Right, none of these have an exact time,
yeah.
So that's makes it a little bit more dicey. And here is the Spider car, and I love this Spider car. He is actually made out of a Mr. Toad, repurposed Mr. Toad ride vehicle, and all the parts to him or her, I guess it's a him, are vehicle parts, car parts. I see actually there are a couple fire extinguishers there.
I hadn't even noticed that. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
so now I'm looking at it,
the
right.
detail is amazing there.
So again, I mean, this is being their first year. To me, it's incredible. Like, just like with Christmas the first year, I think it's incredible how much detail went into this whole land.
And also, this is extremely popular. It's always packed with people and PhotoPass, so we waited until the park closed. We picked the day where the park closed early, which was 8 o'clock. And if you kind of wait around the street here, eventually the people will meander and you can get a good vantage.
And I really liked this at 8 p.m. because it wasn't too late. We were still out of the park by 9, so that works for me. And then you can see this green sparkly tree, which it wasn't on the first night we were there.
I don't think they had installed, you know, when it first started, little things were added every day. So it was kind of nice to be there at the beginning and see the progression. And it's purple trees.
That's one of my favorite, this is one of my favorite parts of the whole celebration, is these fantastic purple sparkly trees.
And now we're looking up at Carthay Theater, and we have bats in the belfry, so to speak.
So this is a Carthay Circle restaurant, and we actually ate up there, and we'll talk about that at some point. But it was really fun to be dining up there on the terrace, which we had never done, with the decorations out.
Yeah, that was really great. That's I love Carthay anyway, but this whole street, Buena Vista Street, so beautiful. And again, they do have their own special lighting ceremony there, and you got Oogie Boogie. You have all sorts of things, very spooky, spookier than one would think for a Disney Halloween.
Right, but not scary.
Just it sounds
it's
spookier
like,
than expected.
Kind of like Fort Wilderness, you know, Headless Horseman. A little spookier, a lot of fun. And thanks to MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel, go to Disneyland for Halloween because it's fantastic, and let them know we sent you.
And then from Disneyland, go straight to Disneyland Paris and check out Halloween there. And then if you still have time, you can check out Walt Disney World too.
Yes, and MEI Travel, the agents there's almost 100 agents, but some of them have been to all of the parks. The owner, Becky, just was in Asia a couple of weeks ago in Shanghai, Tokyo, Disney Sea, Tokyo Disneyland. And I think maybe they went to Hong Kong as well. So really, she's been everywhere.
No, we need to get to the Asia parks to
expand
it sounds like our reach.
But it sounds like we're doing a lot of Paris and a little Disneyland this year, so I'm not sure that it'll be this coming year.
Anyway, that is another show. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll have much, much more. A lot of Disneyland Halloween coming up in the coming weeks. We'll just sprinkle in a little bit each week.
Until Christmas, which is about 1 month away at this point for us.
And we're going to go to Disney Hollywood Studios tomorrow to check out all the new stuff there and the new tap house they have there.
Right, Grand Avenue, which I went on the Epcot 35th day. I went over there just because I wanted to get a walk and check it out. So I'm looking forward to you get to see it this time.
That's right, and of course we'll talk about Disney fan days.
Yes, over at Disneyland Paris, which kicks off in June, and then also the Swan and Dolphin. The Dolphin now has a new lobby and a new casual dining location in the lobby and a new bar. So it really looks fantastic, and we'll be talking about that as well.
So much to look forward to. Anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.